Recording, guys. Yeah, I started recording. Very good. So, guys, now let's start. We are. Let's start. As usual, welcome back. We are going to see a lot of things today in this lecture. Let's start with important things, and then slowly we are going to see a lot of things. Right. So, right, right. So we are going to start with, right, what is the agenda of today's class, or before that, what we have seen till now. So can anyone help me out what we have seen till now, guys? Quickly, what we have seen till now. So if I talk about after oops, right, the most important focus was on namespaces. We have seen a lot of things in namespaces. Then we also talked about file handling, right? Then also we had talked about a lot of things in file handling. Now in this lecture, this is again going to be a lot of fun, and this is the last week of Python lecture, right? The agenda of this lecture would be to understand working with the directory. I want to show you how to work with the directories, working with the directories. First thing, working with the directories, very, very important, working with the directories. Then we are going to look after. So once we are okay with working with the directories, how to work with the directories, then we are going to look after, right, something called serialization and deserialization. So this is a topic that, to be very honest, I don't teach on any other platform, right? So people who have followed me on other platform, then this would be a new topic for you guys. So we are going to look after serialization and deserialization. Then we are also going to see about, right, right, working with directories, serialization, deserialization, then pickling of models. So we are also going to look after pickling, right? What is the meaning of pickling? So we are going to also see that, because this is very, very important. Where this is very important, this will be very important when there will be a machine learning model. Whenever you will be working with machine learning models, then this is going to be very, very important. So we will try to understand what is pickle. Obviously, you will also see this in machine learning models once again, but we will be introducing to this topic as well. And then the most important topic till now, that is your logging. So we will start with logging and exception handling. Obviously, I know myself, I will not be able to cover this much of topics, but let's try and look that if I can reach till here. And then, right, right, modules, yeah, I will cover modules, so don't worry about that. I will be covering the modules. uh, so let me see, let me do one thing. uh, I have to actually, I did a mistake from this cc videos. So cc videos, here we had the last notebook. Mm, filter, sort by date, so namespace and file handling. So very good. So here namespace and file handling, I just want to make it here, downloads. I will just put it here, namespace and login. So this I just wanted to look. And now what I am going to do, so I will just open this namespace and file handling. So we are going to, maybe start with the same notebook, or even if you don't start, no, not a problem. So here we have sent till here, and then I had explained here that we will be working with directories in Python, serialization, deserialization, and pickling, right? So we will try to cover that first, and then we'll also cover modules and packages. I guess modules and packages, career craft, all live classes. So mm, exception handling, memory management. Okay, so I guess today the topic all live classes. Okay, so I guess today's live classes we have modules and packages, so we'll cover that as well. We'll try to cover that as well, not a problem. Then exception handling, maybe it will go in the next class, but here let's say I will just put it here. If I will able to cover everything, then it's fine. Otherwise, I will cover this modules and packages as well. So this is going to be very interesting. And believe me, these are very important topics. These are small topics, but very important topics. So let's try to understand this one by one. So, and in the last, as usual, we are going to have interview questions. Interview questions. So, guys, should we start now? Everyone excited now? Should we start? Everyone, please open your Jupyter notebook, as anyway, this is going to be practical implementation class. So, should we start, guys? Everyone, right? Right, right. Very good. Very good. Right. Very good. So we have understood what we are going to look at. So till now, you have understood two things, that working with the files consists of two types of file. First is, if you want to work with file, then we have something called text file, right? And then we have something called image file, right? Right. So text file, already you have seen few things, and in image file, you know, you work with the images, right? Right, right. So now let's try to look after no different types of file as well. So we are going to see everything in detail. So let's start with this. So the first thing we will start with, right, how to actually, okay, this is already done. So I will open a new notebook here, python 3. So this is a Jupyter notebook. So this is being uh, you know working. So now let's say here I will just write the concept of, let's say, concept of maybe now file. So let's say file handling part 2, or let's say let it be file handling. Now here I want to show you one thing, right? What is that? So let's say you want to work with image file. So earlier in the last class we worked we worked with the text files, right? Everyone agrees to this, that we worked with the text file. Now if you want to work with image file, so will it work, right? The answer to this question is no, it will not work, right? So the image reading is not possible. Maybe I will just write first this. Image reading is not possible, right? In text mode, right? Similarly, not good, right? Right? Similarly, 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 it is also, it is also not possible to read other data types. I will just show you other data types like int, float, 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 list, right? Tuples. Can you directly read this, right? Right. The answer to your question is no, you cannot do. So let's try to understand this. So what I'm going to do, so I will just have one image. So let's say here I have an image. So I will just rename it. So instead of string 7, I will put only strings. So let's say this is a image. Okay. Okay, maybe I will just rename anything else. So string, maybe, right, something like this, string underscore 1. So now I will just put this image here. Now let's say I want to read this image. So you already can see this now, that here we have strings underscore 1 dot png. So we have this image. Now how to read a image or how to read a file? So you will just use with open, and then what you can do? So let's say here we had string1 dot png, because you also need to provide the extension. Then we have read mode. So let's say I will write R, that is read mode, and then as file. So this is my file, and then file.read. This is the way you read text file. Everyone agrees to this? Yes or no? Everyone, right? Right, right, right. Everyone agrees to this. This is the way you read the file. Now, if you execute it, right? If you execute it, then it will throw you some error. What is this error? Right, right, right. If you see Unicode decode error, char map codec don't can't decode byte in position this character maps to undefined. So basically, this particular read mode is assigned to read a text file. This is assigned to read a text file. Right. I will show you one more thing. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So now what I can do, so see what I'm going to do. So first of all, the above command will throw an error. This is the first thing. Will throw an error. Reason being very simple. The above command will throw an error. Right. Reason being, right, read mode works with text data. This is the first thing. Read mode works with the text data. But now this is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. So now what I'm going to do, see, I don't have any file. So let's say even if I have file.txt. So let's say this is file.txt. So I'll open this with, see here, I'm going to do one thing. With open file.txt, 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 and I will just open this in the write mode as file. Now I am going to write file.write, file.write. So I am going to write value 5. Right. So let's say I will just write value 5. First of all, answer me, will this be executed? Before that as well, let's say I will just write something like this: India is great, so that you guys can memorize this. Let's say India is great. So now if you see this file.txt, so here if you see 6 seconds ago it has been edited. Now if you see the value, so India is great, let's say this is written here. But now my question is, let's say in place of India we are going to write a number. So maybe let's say 5. So what will happen in this case, guys? What will happen in this case? Answer me. Do you think, do you think that this will work? Everyone, you have to answer this. Right. Right. Many of you are saying error, right? Sada says error, Sajil says error, Vedic says error. What about other people, guys? Other people are not typing the code, is it? Right? What will happen in this case? You guys have to answer this. What will happen in this case? Right? So this will throw you an error. See here, right argument must be string, not integer. So I will just write this will throw an error. Throw an error. So why? Why? Because it works. It works only with string data. Right? Right? It works only with the string data. Right? The same thing if you write something like this. Right? 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 Something like this. So instead of 5 or whatever number, so let's say 10. If you write like this, then it will execute. It will be executed. Right? Right? It will be executed. Now if you want to read this, so with open, so if you now read this, so something like this: file.text, file.txt, file.text, and then in read mode. So let's say you read the data and let's say as file. So after reading, so let's say this is the object, so file dot, read, and now let's say this you have read, right? So print, so let's say print file.read. So now you will be able to see the value 10. But the moment you write 10 plus 20, it will throw you an error. Can only concatenate string and not integer. It will again throw error. It will throw error. It will throw error. Why? It means the value 10 inside the file is string. And that's why you are not able to add this. Now, in order to add this, what you can do? You can convert this to integer. The moment you convert this to integer and then you add, you will not face any error. And hence, it proves everything you write is in a string format. Is it clear? Everyone, is it clear? Right, 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 right. So now you must be thinking, right? You must be thinking, Ajay, sir, why cannot we write everything in now in the string format? This sounds so cool, right? Write everything in the string format, and whenever required, I can just convert that into, I can convert that into integer. Everyone must be thinking yes or no, right? If let's say text file only writes a string, then you must be thinking, why not? Let's write in a string format, and while reading, convert into integer and do whatever you want to do. This could be one of the thought process. Yes or no, everyone? Right? Everyone agrees to this? Quickly, I want to hear yes or no. Ada, yes or no. Adeline, Sasank, everyone, yes or no? Right? 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 Very good. All of you are saying yes. But actually, that's not a correct thing. Maybe Rajkumar is very smart to figure it out. He is mentioning it is not possible in some case. Very good, Rajkumar. Keep it up. Where it is not possible, right? I will show you. I will show you. So basically, now I can just write, right? It will not throw an error as you converted into integer and then adding the integer. Very good. But this thought will not work in every case, will not work in every case, right? Where? So let's see it. So we have something called as name. Name is equals to, or let's say student. Let's say student is equals to, let's say student is equals to, there is a dictionary, and here I am having name, and name is, let's say, Rajkumar. Let's say name is Rajkumar. And here we have age is equals to, Rajkumar, how old you are? Okay, let me put my age. So let's say I am maybe 28 years old, and then here I am having gender. Gender is male, right? Gender is male. Rajkumar says 31, so I will put 31 here. Okay, not a problem. So 31. Very good. Now this is the student. Now see carefully. This is interesting, and you will be surprised to know that how Python is so tricky. If you get into the depth, if no one teaches, that's fine, but if you start reading everything in depth, you will realize that there are a lot of things now that should be focused on. So let's say here with open, and here I will just write student.txt, student.txt, and then let's say in the write mode a new file will be created as file, and then I will write file dot, see here, file dot write. So first of all, answer me, will this be executed or not? Everyone, will this be executed? Everyone, my tiger, tigress, lion, lioness, my manjulikas, everyone has to answer this, right? Will it execute or not? Right? Rishikesh, you were not available in the last week, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Right? Will it get executed? Right? Will it get executed? Very good. So here it will give you an error. See how interesting it is. Argument must be string. So again an string, again an error. Now the question is, and this is your interview question. This was actually asked to me in Amazon's interview. Now the question is, but let's say I have to write this. How will you write this in a file? Answer me. Let's say this throw you an error. That is completely fine. But still you want to write in a file. How can you write, guys? Everyone? Everyone, please guys answer it quickly, otherwise I will make sure that my girlfriend Monjolika kills you. Do you guys remember this? Right? She is my girlfriend and I will just send her in your dreams and your whole sleep will be lost. Right? Rajkumar says write in. Very good. I haven't used that particular thing. Anyone else? How can we write this particular dictionary into the file? Right. Sajal says it's been a ritual sir in class to see Manjulika's face. Yes, from the next class, every day we will first pray to Manjulika. Let's start our class and bless us, and then we will start with the class. Okay, jokes apart. Don't worry about that. So here, how can you do? See, this is a common sense question, right? I am expecting Sada should at least answer this. Sada, where are you? Are you with Manjolika? You are not answering this. Everyone has to answer this. Vipan sir, what should be here? Very good, Wali. Very good. Very common sense. Just do STR. Right? STR. Done. See, now if you go ahead, then here, if you see, now here if you just go ahead and now here if you see student.txt, then you will find it has been written. See, so easy. Rajkumar had told write lines. So I don't know. Let me see write lines also. So let's say write lines. I won't use that, but let's say here I will also write lines. So let me see how does write lines work. So this should not work actually here in this case as well. It should not work, right? Okay, it worked very good. So write lines. I have understood why it has worked. This is going to be very interesting discussion. So let's see write lines. Now again, I will go to student.txt and see the file. Very good, write lines. Either you use write lines or you convert to the string. Very good. Solution. Right. Solution. Right. Solution. 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 Either convert to string or use write lines. Very good. Not a problem. Not a problem. You guys are very smart. Now I have a same question. Since you guys are following, just read this file with open. Now read the same file. Go ahead, guys, and read the same file. So what I'm going to do, with open, and then I'm going to use student dot txt. So I'm going to use student.txt, and then what I am going to do, I am going to, let's say, use read mode. So read mode as F, right? So we have this file. Now you want to read this. So F dot read. So guys, now the question is, can you read this? Print F dot read. Everyone, please try it reading out. Everyone, please try it out. Right? Right. Please try it out. What will happen in this case? Everyone, right? Right. Everyone, Sada, did you executed that code, whatever you have written? So first of all, app.read, everyone, right? So it will throw you an error. Okay, why I written a file.read? Okay, so this will not throw an error. Very good. This is you have read this. Very good. Not a problem. Now, see it carefully. If you just type the type of this, so what I'm going to do, so here, instead of print, what I am going to do, write s is equals to this. See here, s is equals to this. Now, if you see type of s, right, what will happen, guys? Everyone, what it will show you. So if you just write this type of s, this is your string. Now comes the more interesting thing. Now, if you write dict of this as, this is going to be very interesting. Then what will happen, guys, in this case? See, this is what actually I was expecting. Right, right. So you wrote a dictionary, you read it back, but now this is in a string format. That's the problem. Right. Now read the same file, it will return a string, it will return a string. Try, try, converting to dictionary, it will throw error. It will throw error. Simple. Or if you want me to write something like this, so I can just write like this as well. Instead of this, I will write print and then here dict of this. Then you will realize it will throw you an error. See the same error. Now answer me, guys. Why it happened so? Why it has happened so? That's the question. And this should be only answered, this can only be answered if you understand how the file read and write happens that I had discussed in the first class. But let's say, how many of you can answer this quickly? Why it happened so? Right? Anyone has any idea? There is a reason behind it. So if you guys remember, I had explained you how the write function or how the read function works. Do you guys remember? All of these files are where stored? Everyone are where stored? Can I say in a hard disk? Not RAM, not RAM. On hard disk, SSD or ROM, right? All of these files are stored, right? Then what happens? Whenever you read or write, then comes the RAM. Comes the RAM. Now you wrote something in a string format or whatever format you wrote, right? And then once the file is closed, file dot close, it is again transmitted to hard disk and RAM is cleaned up by, let's say, Python garbage collector. Right? It is automatically clean. Right, right. Now in this process, from ROM to RAM and back to ROM, the structure of the file is not intact. Is not intact. The structure of file is not intact. Since this file is expecting string, you have given the string. Very good. This has become a string. But since the structure is not intact, the moment it is again rewritten in file in a hard disk, you cannot again convert back using simple dictionary. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? In very simple words, quickly, right? Right? Rajkumar says no. Very good. I will again explain Rajkumar. So let's say dictionary. You converted to string, right? Then you wrote the file, write the file, right? Now what happens? This is your ROM, right? This is your hard disk. First of all, any file written here, or even if not written, let's say this is your RAM, right? This is your RAM. So you are working here. So here, this RAM is expecting some string. Very good. So you have written in a string format, right? Now, since this string format is there, you again rewrite back to the ROM. Originally, it was a dictionary inside a string, right? But since you have rewritten this again in ROM, this structural this structure of dictionary now is not intact, or now is not as it is. Now it has become a proper stream which doesn't know what is key and what is value. And that's why, again, when you read this, right, it is saying dictionary update sequence element 0 has length 1 because everything is one string. And you know, to convert anything into dictionary, it requires key value pair. There is two things, key and value, and that's why it is written 2 is required. Is it clear now? Yes or no, Rajkumar? Sajil says Ali means dict format is not satisfied. Ali, what is Ali? Yes, it means dictionary format is not satisfied. Clear? Right, right, right. Ali, okay. Ali means length. You are saying length. See, Sajil is very smart. I am not smart. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is the understanding. Now, can anyone write the same thing in text? Oh, this is a very hard job. Santanu has requested to write everything in the notes. Okay, simple language. Okay. So this is very hard to write, but anyway, right? File. Whenever whenever you read slash write file, right? Write a text file. We work in RAM and store back in row. Second point, right? It expects it expects a string, and we are providing we are providing a dictionary in string dictionary in string format. Now that's the problem. We are providing a dictionary in string format, and that's the problem. Right? It expects a string, and we are providing a dictionary in string format. Now, when it writes back to Rome, the dictionary structure. What is the meaning of this dictionary structure? That is key value pair. Key value pair is not or is lost. So when you read again, what will happen, guys? It read again and try to convert to dictionary. It an error throws an error. Fine. Everyone happy till now? Now the question is how to solve this problem, right? How to solve this issue? Then comes the concept of file handling to, right? Concept of serialization and deserialization. So now the time, so you have now guys understood what is serialization, sorry, what is the demerit or what is the disadvantage. Now comes the time of serialization and deserialization. So now we will try to study the concept of serialization and deserialization. So I will just write it here, serialization. And this is very important concept, to be very honest. Very important concept with respect to machine learning modeling. So serialization and deserialization. Deserialization. So if I have to write serialization, right? What is serialization, guys? What is serialization? So process of converting converting any Python data types into JSON format. So what is JSON format? I will come to this, right? Right. And what is deserialization? Deserialization, right? Right. Process of converting converting JSON format to original data type, to original Python data type, so this is a very interesting concept, data type. If you Google it about this serialization and deserialization, so just Google it out. Serialization in Python. Serialization in Python. Just see in Wikipedia, right? Or let's say Wikipedia. Let's see it. Serialization in right, right, right. See here. Serialization also referred to as pickling in Python. This is very important because again we are coming back to this important thing, right? Is the process of translating a data structure or object state into a format that can be stored or transmitted and reconstructed later. This reconstruction is deserialization, right? So here I will just copy paste this. This is very important, very important, right? And more important, more than this, is this particular image, and that's why I have opened this Wikipedia. So here I will just put it serialization. So here I will just write something like this. So maybe markdown, right? So serialization, process of converting any Python data types into JSON format in computing this, right, 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 right. This is the complete no, definition of serialization. But what is actually serialization? That's the question. That will be clear with this particular image. So now I will just put this image here, right? So maybe markdown, and I will just put this image like this, right? I don't know why whenever I am pasting this, this is happening two times, right? So this is the image. See what is happening. There is object, right? There is some stream of bytes. So what is the meaning of bytes? Anyone? What is the meaning of bytes? Right, right. Quickly, guys, everyone. What is the meaning of bytes? Anyone has any idea? What is the meaning of bytes? Quickly, right? Anyone? No idea? Collection of bits. Very good, Sada. Simple. Very simple. Zeros one. Multiple zeros one. So I'll just write a stream of bytes. A stream of bytes. A stream of bytes means collection of bits. Very good, Sada. Collection of bits means multiple zeros and one. Multiple, multiple zeros one and ones. Zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. Very good. Right. So now what is happening? So you have some real object. It is converted into the format of multiple zeros and ones, and then it is actually stored in a file. See this, very important. Right, right, right. Yes, Survi, 1 byte is equals to 8 bits, but I am talking about stream of bytes. Stream means collection. Right. I will just write it here. Maybe I will just write this one as well. 1 byte. Anyone just confirm it if it 1 byte is 8 bytes. Sorry, 8 bits. I don't remember, but this is the understanding. Collection. Stream means collection. But anyway, moving most important thing. Object is there. It will be converted into zeros and ones. Then it will be stored in a file. It will be stored in a database. It can be stored in a memory. This part is called as serialization. Again, this file, database, and memory is again reconstructed into the format of bytes, and then again it becomes object. So this is called as deserialization. So whenever I was writing this definition and reconstructed later, it simply meant deserialization. Very important if you want to crack a job in FANG, that is Facebook, that is Meta, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. This is the one of the most important or one of the most asked question in Python. Try to understand the sequence. We read a file, we understood the disadvantage of reading a file, then we came to serialization and deserialization. And that's the beauty. Right? Right? Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Everyone understood the concept of serialization and deserialization? Anyone is there who don't understands this? Quickly. Understood? Right? Very good. Very good. Really proud of you guys. Have some water then if you guys have understood this. Asraf says stream of bytes means collection of zeros and ones. Very easy. Collection of zeros and ones. Multiple zeros and ones. Now the question is how to do this? Because this is also called as pickling of something. Pickling in Python. This is called also called as pickling in Python. Now, what is this pickling? How to do serialization? How to do deserialization? So we are again going to understand that, right? And to understand this, again, let's start with a basic how to first store this particular dictionary. So we'll start with this only. So we will start with this because already this is the thing that we have studied. So let's start with this. How to do serialization and store this, right? How we can do this, right? So here I had written here one point. Process of converting any Python data types into JSON format. Now we have to also understand what is this JSON format, right? There is a full form of JSON, right? This is a data structure heavily used in JavaScript, right? Right. A JavaScript object notation. So this is the full form of JSON, right? Right. Now, what is the meaning of this and how important it is? I will explain you. So don't need to worry about that. So here first let me write right here. What is a JSON? So I'll just write it here. JSON. JSON or JavaScript object notation is a file format and data interchange format between human readable text to store and transmit data. Similar, it looks like JSON data structure. JSON looks like looks like looks like a dictionary. Simple. So if you want to look at the JSON structure, I will show you. So let's say this is your JSON structure. See, what is this? Name, age, right? See here, this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value. So JSON is a key value pair. That's it. And it can have multiple key value. So here I will just write it again, right? So JSON, I will just put it like this. So that notes is available to you. You guys are, right, right. So this is your JSON structure, right? So let's say I will just write it here. JSON structure, JSON structure, structure, right? So this is your JSON structure. Very simple, right? Right. The only difference is not even difference in dictionary also you can do. You can have multiple key value pair. Inside value, you can again one key value pair. This is your JSON structure, right? Now moving ahead, right? This is a uh, student. Now you want to write it. How you can write it? For that, I will write something called JSON. Import JSON. Right. So again, JSON is a module using which you can you know uh, store the data in a key value pair. So JSON is a module using which you can store the data in dictionary format. This is the understanding. Very good. Now what I'm going to do, I can now student.txt. Instead of txt, I will just write JSON. Simple. Dot JSON. And here now, instead of file, right, right, I will simply write, okay, just let me write it here. Because since you are working with now JSON, so JSON dot dump. So JSON dot dump. And here you have to write. So first of all, hit tab, shift tab. So if you see, you have to write object, right? What you want to dump, right? Then you have FP. So basically, if you just go ahead, serialize object as JSON format stream to FP. That is right, a right format supporting file like object. So you can just serialize. So I will just write it like this. So what does JSON dot dump do? So JSON dot dump do, JSON dot dump. So this actually does this thing, right? As JSON format, simple, right? Supporting file like object. You can think it, right? This is the right. So, but anyway, you don't need to worry about that because we already have understood this. But let's say this is the understanding. It was JSON formatted string. Very good. Now what I'm going to do here, I can just write the student, whatever dictionary you have, right? And then this file format, right? So here I can just write this file and you are done, right? So you are done. So these are two things, student and file, that you provide, right? There are other parameters as well, indent, separator. You don't need to worry about that, right? We don't have any indentation or something like that. See here, indent is a non-negative integer, then JSON array elements and object methods will be printed with the indent label. So if you want some indentation level, so for example, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, so you want to have this structure only. So here I can just write 4. Why? Because 4 is space, right? Right. So here I will just write this parameter like this. Indent is equals to 4. What is the meaning of this? Right. Indent to store dictionary in the original format. Original format with indentation. Very simple. Right. Earlier, if you remember, it was a straight line. If you open it now, so what was that? Right, student.txt. So if you see, it was a straight line. See here, a straight line. But if you want to also have the structure, indentation, similar to what we have original, then you can put indent equals to 4. Very simple. Right, 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 right. Yes, you can use any number, but that will not be a correct thing because one tab is 4 space. So format with indentation, format with indentation, right? So uh, here I can just write simple one thing more. So one thing more. So here 4 tab, for space is one tab. Now execute this. Very good. Now you have student.json. See here, now if you see, you have another format, student.json, and see how beautiful it looks like. Name Rajkumar, age 31, gender male. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no? Quickly. Right, 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 right. Now, moving ahead, that was not a problem. Writing was never a problem. You could have written this using right lines as well. Right? It was never a problem. Problem was while reading. Right? Right. Sajal says, Bhaiya, without indentation, it is the same output. Yes, without indentation, also you can get the same output because you are storing in a, I know, this structure. But it might differ when you read back. I will come to that. So writing was never a problem. Writing was never a problem. What was the problem? What was the problem? The problem was, right, writing was never a problem. Never a problem. Problem was, problem was, problem was writing in the original structure so that while reading the structure remains intact. structure remains intact. Now that is the main thing, right? That's the main thing. So then comes the concept of deserialization. And guys, be focused here. Right, 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 right. Deserialization. So now we are going to see what is deserialization. Now, very simple, very easy. What I am going to do, guys? With open, see, with open. Now, student.json. So with open, student.json. Student.json in read mode. So I'll just write read mode, right? As file, as file, right? As file. Very simple. And now you will load this file. So how will you load? JSON module dot load file. Load file. Right? Very simple. Now execute this. Before executing, let's store this in a dictionary. So let's say D. D is equals to this. And then here I will print D. Let's see. See here. This is the dictionary. Right? And now print type of D. Print type of D, then you will realize this is now dictionary. So while reading, now this is not a issue. So guys, here indentation is actually, I guess, optional thing. So you can just not even put it because the structure again is it is as it is. But anyway, the main thing is now the data type is intact and you don't need to worry about the data type. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Did we solve the problem? Now, what is the industry use case? Very important industry use case. So, industry use case. While working with files and and database, database while working with files and database, right? Whenever you will be working with files and database, right, 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 you will be always using JSON format for data structures other than other than string. Very important. This is a very big statement. Someone please see it carefully. While working with the files and databases, you will always be storing, you will be always be using JSON format for data structures other than string. Right? This is the understanding. Ashraf says data type intact. Data type intact simply means that earlier, if you see, if you, I guess you have no forgot the main thing. So earlier, when you were writing dictionary, right, you had to convert this into dictionary. Sorry, string. Then you have to write. But while reading, when you wanted to convert this into dictionary, it was not being converted because the data structure is now not the same. Already explained the reason here. But in this case, you are writing a dictionary, you are also reading a dictionary. So, therefore, the data type, data type is what? Dictionary. Data structure is what? Dictionary. So this dictionary structure is remained intact. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Ashraf, Sajil, is it clear? Everyone? Right? Right? Very good. Everyone? Right? 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 Rajkumar says it is majorly used when we do integration. It will be used anywhere. This JSON will be used like anything. See, because we don't have any option other than string. You work with dictionary, you work with integer, you work with float, you work with list, you work with falna, you work with chilna, you work with dhakna. Don't care. It will always be JSON format. That's it. Right. That's the beauty. That's the beauty. Right. I guess many of the students didn't understood falna, chilna, dhakna. So don't worry, Atanaska, Adeline, Ada, falna, chilna, dhakna means any Tom, Harry, something like that. Right. Be it any Tom, Harry. Right. 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 It will, right, always store the JSON. Right. Can we use it with XML? Very good question, Rajkumar. XML can also be one of the format that is used. But the problem with XML is it is not compatible with a lot of platforms, right? And JSON is very popular. JSON is very, very popular because it is, it can be integrated with a lot of platforms. You don't need to worry about the integration. That's the whole idea. Right. Tushar says, how can we convert the data into JSON? Already I have shown you. Tushar, see, JSON.load file, JSON.dump. Write any dictionary. Okay, I understood what you meant to say. Any dictionary. So whenever you write a dictionary, this is a JSON format. It is just that it is transferred to a JSON file whenever you say JSON.dump. Very simple. Whenever you load, JSON.load. Is it clear, everyone? Sajil says, no matter the number of doubts. Arre, thanks, Sajil. Everyone is clear. Should I show you more examples? Right? Right? Now, this is again very interesting. Right? Tushar says, if the file is CSV, now that is a different case. I will come to CSV file also in this lecture only. Because for CSV, we have another way of reading the data using pandas, if you know. You can also have CSV, but I will come to that. Don't worry about that. If there is an Excel file, can we convert into JSON? Yes. If there is a CSV file, can we convert to JSON? Yes. But how? How? You have to iterate through each of this row. I will show you. So let's say I will show you. Very easy. You can convert this, but it is not required. There is a reason behind it. Why it is not required? I will explain you the reason just now. I will explain you the reason. But first of all, how 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 Excel file or CSV file, how Excel CSV file is converted to JSON. See, guys, believe me, this is the ultimate depth that we are studying. Go and check it out any YouTube channel. You will realize that it is not available anywhere. Barely one or two, maybe. Right, right. The point I'm trying to make, this is the ultimate depth we are studying. So even if it feels like a little bit of boring, I am a little bit slow, don't worry about that. Focus on this. Right. Now, how Excel CSV file is converted into JSON. Interesting. Interesting. How? So let's say, can I say this is a column gender, right? Let's say I can say name. Let's say, can I say class, right? Gender is male, name is Sajil, class is data science. Let's say name is Tushar, sorry, gender is male, name is Tushar, class is data science. Let's say name is Ataneska, then let's say gender is female, data science. Then let's say we have Ada, female, and data science. Just use your brain, guys. If you have to convert this into a JSON format, why I am explaining this? Because I have worked on this problem statement. This is a very big problem statement. If you just go to my LinkedIn profile, then you will see two terms, Neo4j and ArangoDB. Just go to my LinkedIn profile, then you will find I have done these two projects. These two projects are related to database. This Neo4j and ArangoDB, and after that there are like InfluxDB. InfluxDB is for time series. Let's say there is another database called Tiger Analytics, right? Tiger Analytics, Tiger Analytics, why I am saying Tiger DB, right? Right, just a second, I have forgotten the name, right? So Tiger DB maybe, right? It should not be Tiger DB, I guess. I have forgotten the name. uh, Tiger database, Tiger database. No, I have forgot the database. Rengo DB competitor. Alternatives. Alternatives. It is Tiger database. It is Tiger database, something like that. I'm forgetting because that is the base database we have. Since it is a paid one, that's why we didn't use it, and that's why I don't remember the name now. Oh, where it is, yeah. This is something I hate about myself. Sometimes I forget and then I am stuck. So I didn't explore this. I didn't explore this. Redis I have worked on but didn't explore. Uh, with respect to, yes, Neo 4J, right? MongoDB I know, right? Amazon Neptune I know. So this is also one of the very good database for the graph database. Okay. Oh, guys, I'm not able to find it. I'm not able to find it. Postgre. Maria, Mongo, Redis, Triplet, CouchDB, Cockroach, AceDB, FileStore, YDB, Azure. Okay. Uh, Graph database. Graph database. Best. Tiger Graph. Very good. Sorry, guys. Yes. I remember that. Very good, Wally. So that is Tiger Graph. This is the best graph database. Tiger Graph. So if you guys have some time, right? Actually, I am planning to have one course on graph database because I have worked on this. This Tiger Graph is the best database. So I had done this experiment comparing all the database. But anyway, the idea is the problem statement that I was working, right? So this Tiger Graph. Oh my God, Tiger Graph. So I extensively worked on these three database, right? These are NoSQL database, right? Or like let's say you can say graph database, right? Very important. So let's say this is the data format. This is a data frame. Now you have to store this somehow. But how will you store this? That's the whole problem. So if I have to store this, right, I will store something like this. So it will be something like this. So just use your brain. Very good, Sada. So I will just write gender. See it here, gender. And I will just write male, male, female, female. Very simple. Then similarly, name, name, name. Now here name as T A A, right? And then we have class, right? We have DS, DS, and DS, and so on. And this is how you convert to JSON format. One column, one key value pair, right? And actually, this will come when you will work in corporate, you will see this type of things, right? But this is the understanding. So when for the first time this problem statement came to me, I was like thinking how I will convert this data frame to a JSON format. Sorry, to a JSON format, because this will be 100K of rows. Are you guys understanding? This will be 100K of rows. Data frame can be 10 million, 1 million, 2 million, 10 lakhs of rows, right? 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. How will I convert? I will like surprised. I will write like this, right? S, male, T, male. Then I realize, no, this is not the correct format. So this is the way you can store the data. This is also having one disadvantage. I don't want to talk about that disadvantage now, but can anyone say me what could be a possible disadvantage if the data is very large? So basically what will happen, this database has some limitations on this value. So this value should not be, this particular one value should not be less greater than, let's say, 100 MB. This can be also one of the possibility. Not, this is not the fixed number. This is 100 MB is not a fixed number. It can be 1 GB also, right? Anything, something like that. But this can be one of the problem that I faced. But anyway, that's not a part of discussion as of now. But this is how you can convert a Excel or CSV file or a data frame in this format. Is it clear? And I will show you also. So let's say I will just show you. So for example, in this case, so let's say I will again take this particular student name, right? The student Rajkumar, right? So let's say here the student Rajkumar, and now what I can do, instead of name Rajkumar, I can just and so on, whatever numbers you want to put, right? Right, right. So this is the understanding. So here ML, DL, CLV. Right. Am I audible, guys? Yes or no? Everyone, am I audible? Yes, yes, very good. So ML, DL, CV, anything, right? Right. It can be stored, anything. Now, what you will do? You can just simply again here with this particular thing, if you want to provide indentation you can provide, or even if you don't want to provide, you just ignore this. And now if you will see here, json.dump, actually I would have kept any other name, student 1 maybe, but anyway, so if you see it carefully now here in this case, so here you will find a beautiful thing. So student.json, that you will be having multiple values, right? If you see course and there are three items in a form of list, see ML, DL, CV. How beautiful it is, right? Right. Can you store any other data structure in this format? The answer to your question is yes. You can also store any other data structure. So maybe let's say storing dictionary, sorry, storing list, tuples, whatever you want to store, you can do. You can store that. How? So let's say student is there. Now I will just write it here in this list format. Let's say we have Raj, then we have Simran. Who knows Raj and Simran? Everyone. So Raj, Simran, then we have, let's say, Monjolika, right? So student and something like this. So let's say student1.json. So if you just execute this, now a tuple will also be stored. So now if you see student1.json, right? So student1.json. So here you will find here Raj, Simran, Monjolika, right? In a similar way, can you store a list? The answer to your question is list. You can do also that thing as well. So storing as a list, so you can just write like this. So here it will also not throw you any error, and this will be stored. Clear? Yes or no? So far so good. Everyone is happy till now. Quickly, yes or no? Everyone, right? Right, right, right. Very good. So just on format, yes, 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 yes. Very good. This is the most used data structure. While actually it is, so I can show you an example. So have you worked, not worked? Have you used any website? Right. Okay, I will just show you. Maybe I will just do one thing. Hmm. Open any website, Flipkart. Say it, Flipkart, right? So let's say Flipkart. So here we have Flipkart, right? So what you can do, just click on right click and see the inspect, right? Right. So inspect here, and let's say layout. Okay, layout not maybe this value, console. Sources. Actually, I wanted to show you when you hit something, Flipkart. Okay, I might not show you because there should be some website, right, which is down or something like that. But have you observed whenever you hit some website and you are expecting something, right? You are expecting something. in return some data, then whenever the return data will be there, that will be in this JSON format. I don't know if you guys have observed or not. Even if you have not observed, now onwards, whenever you will be using any website, observe that if you are going to some link or if you are going to some website, right, and you are expecting some data, then you will realize that the returned data will always be in a JSON format. I could have shown you if there is a website which is down, I would have returned something, error or something like that. Then you might have realized that, okay, it is in JSON format. Yes, just like Postman. Right. Right. So that is the understanding, but you don't need to worry about that anyway. As we move ahead, you will realize slowly, because anyway, we are also going to look at many projects. So don't worry about that. Somewhere I will add that component, but this is the understanding. But now, right, right, it is also helpful with configuration with other projects. Yes, we can. Right. So basically, okay, let me give you an intuition. So I don't know, this should be taught here or not, but I will try to give you some intuition. Right. Right. Oh, oh my God, what happened? So basically, let's say this is your, or let's say, oh my God, why my pen is not working? What happened suddenly? So let's say this is your laptop, or let's say this is your uh, laptop, and you are hitting a website, right? So you are hitting website, right? So when you hit some website, then what will happen, right? Whenever you hit some website, then what will happen? So there is some backend server, so it will go to some server wherever the data or wherever the website is hosted. So now, right, 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 so whenever you hit something, it will go to some backend server, right? So the data that you are sending, that will be in this format: key value, key value, key value. That request is also called as put, right, right. So each of the time you will send the data in this particular format. The way it gives you the result, right, that also will be in a key value format. Again, this is a JSON format, right? So that is the complete understanding. Wally says we need to check the network. Yes, yes, true, Wally. Right, right, right. So that's the understanding. Right, right. So now, should we move ahead, guys? Now, right. So this was about the data structure that we already know. But can we have, right? Can we have, right, some custom object serialization and deserialization? So serialization, serialization, and deserialization, right? Serialization of custom object. Can we do that as well? Custom objects, right? Answer to your question is yes, we can do that as well. But how? That is the question now. How can we do that? So for that, let's make a class student. Class student. So in class student, we can have, let's say, init, right? This is your custom class that you are making. So we can have init, right? In this is init, you can have self, maybe self, name, age, let's say class, right? Maybe gender also we can have. So let's say instead of class, have gender, right? Right. Now, what you can do? Self dot name is equals to name. Self dot gender, gender is equals to gender. Self dot age is equals to age. Very easy, right? Right. Very good, not a problem. Now, see it carefully. This is fun. So let's say you made a class student, and now you are making an object, and in this object you have, let's say, Sada, then age, let's say age of Sada is 31, and then we have Sada's gender, let's say male, right? So I can just write this is your Sada, Very good. But now, right, I want to make sure, right, right, right. I want to make sure, right, that this particular object is actually stores the data something like in this format. So I want, I want the object to be stored and shown, let's say, and shown in this format, in this format, in this format. What is the format? Right. So maybe I will just write, something like this. Maybe, I can just say, uh, okay, let's say I will just write name Sada. Let's say key value pair. Let's say this is name Sada. Right. Then we have gender, gender. Let's say male. Right. Then let's say age. Then we have 31, something like that. Right. So we want to store this object, or let's say we want to store this particular class in such a way that each time you make an object, the data is stored in this format. So each time you make an object, the data is stored in this format. This is the question. Right. Each time you make an object, the data is stored in the above format. An object of what? Of class student. Now, the question is, first of all, try to understand the question. You have to store the class in such a way that in a particular format, when loaded, it will give you the result. Whenever you load that class and make an object, it will give you in a proper format. So for that, actually what we have to do, so here whenever you will be dumping this, so with open student dot json, student.json, right, with open student.json, and let's say you have write mode as file, right, as file. Here in json.dump, right, so let's say what you want to dump, you want to dump a class student, right. So here we have class student, so let's say here I can just write it here, s. So this is the object, so s is the object that you have made. So let's say this is the s. See it carefully. This is the S. And now, what you want to dump, right? Where you want to dump? So you want to dump in this file, right? But the problem is, this class student doesn't have any format to show you. So if you want to store this, just do like this, you will get an error. What is this error? Object of type student is not JSON serializable, right? This will give you an error. So let's say the following will give you an error. The following will give you an error. Can anyone answer this? You an error. Why it is giving you an error? Right? Anyone? Earlier, we used JSON.dump with dictionary, with list, with tuple. It didn't give you an error. But here, since this is a class, let's say now you are using class, and now whenever you were dumping an object of the class, it threw an error. Can anyone answer this? Why it is so? Why it is throwing you an error? Anyone? Can anyone answer this? Why it is throwing you an error? So Rajkumar says we haven't map not inappropriate just because it didn't have any structure. Very good. You guys are to some extent very close because it's not in just one format. Very good. You are some to some extent close. It's not about JSON format. Actually, JSON doesn't know what is the format of S. Earlier, JSON knew that student is a dictionary, student is a list, student is a tuple. That were known data structure. But this time, this S is not known. It is customized data structure because because JSON doesn't know doesn't know how class student look like look like and if it doesn't know the class, if doesn't know the class, then how it will store object? Very simple. Then how it will store object? Is it clear? Right, 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 right. Now, how to do this? How to do this? So for that, you know that you want, right, 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 right. I will now just copy this. Now it is the right place to copy. So now, what is the solution? So this will be the solution. This will be the solution. I want the object to be stored and shown in this format. Each time you make an object of the data is stored in the above format of class student. Then you can actually store this. And how can we do this? Right. So I'll not copy it here. Let it be an error so that you guys can have this. Now I will copy this. So here we are going to have some format. So how can I do that? Right. So here you will be having a parameter called as default. So let's say default, and here maybe let's say structure, default some structure, or let's say student structure, whatever you want to name a function. So here I can just write def. See it carefully, it will be clear when you will understand this. As underscore structure, so maybe let's make this student structure, that it will be more intuitive name. So stirred structure, and it will take an object. So whatever object is there, so let's say student object, so let's say student object, and it will first check if is instance. This is also one of the very very important, or a lot of time this will be used. So if you just hit tab, what is instance? Return whether an object is an instance of a class or subclass. Right, 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 right. So what is instance? I'll just write it here. What is this is instance, right? So let's say is instance. I will give you an example. Return whether an object is an instance of the class or a subclass. So for example, let's say this is your dictionary. D is equals to, right, name, and then let's say Ajay. So let's say this is your name and Ajay. What is the type, guys? If you see, type of this will be dictionary. Now, if you write, so let's say print, this is your type dictionary. See it very carefully, guys. This is very, very important. So now what I'm going to do, I will show you is instance. And now D, and I will just write dict. See what will happen. See, true. Now what is the meaning of this? I will again explain you with another example. Let's say A is equals to 2. Again, is instance. Here, I will just write is instance. Here in this case, let's say A, and I will just write integer. Let's say maybe integer. See here, it gives you true. Right. Again, I will just write, instead of integer, I will just write float. Right. So here I will write float. Then see what will happen. Or let's say string. What will happen? False. So it simply means that A is object of a class, that is called as integer. Or let's say D is the object of the class, that is dictionary. Very simple. D is the object of class dictionary. Right here, right, right. A is object of class integer. So, guys, is it clear what is actually happening here whenever you are writing is instance? Everyone, is it clear? So now we will use the same thing, that if a student object is of class student. So what is this class? Student. So we will write class student. So what is the meaning of this? Right, I will just write it here. If a student object is of class student, very simple. If it is true, then return. Now you can have this format, return whatever format you want, right? And what format you want? Already we have discussed. You want first, you know, what is the format you want, guys? Yes, name. So you want something like this, name, and then here you can just write student dot name. Then you want what you want. So let's say you want gender. Then you can just write student student dot gender. Then let's say you have age. So let's say age. Then you can just put student dot age. Very simple. Done. Now whatever way you want to beautify, you can do any symbol in between, it doesn't matter, right? And now in this case, here you will pass this stirred structure. So now here, right, I will just, right, copy this after this. So his instance is clear. And now if you actually execute this, okay, here student dot gender, what is the mistake I have done? Name, student name, gender. Okay, name is this, student is this, student dot gender. Now it will not throw you any error. Very simple. And now if you just go ahead and see it now, so let's say this was student.json. Now it will take some time. So student.json 17 seconds ago. So now if you see name Sada, gender male, age 31, this is the object of class student. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Right, right. We have to provide, right, stirred structure, stirred structure in the while dumping, so that JSON knows the structure. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Everyone, quickly. Is it clear? Right, right, right. Everyone, yes or no? Right, right, right. Sajil is saying, can you give a brief summary? Very easy. So, if it is a custom class object, you cannot store it directly. You have to pass a function that what should be a default structure look like, because JSON will never know what is the structure. That's it. Clear? Yes or no? Everyone. Now, same thing. Can you deserialize? The answer is yes. Deserialization. So let's try to do this. Deserialization. Now, if you want to deserialize, same thing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just open this, right, with open json.load. Where is json.load? Okay, so here json.load. So I will just use this. And now if I just use this, right? So I will just use this. Now you will find Sada gender male age 31. So this is actually done. Is it clear, everyone? Anyone has any doubt, please go ahead and ask. So let's have some water. But anyone has any doubts? Okay. Thanks, Sajil. Hope you guys have understood this. Now let's take a 5 minutes of break, guys. I also my throat also needs some rest. So 5 minutes of break, and then again we will start with same. Oh, 5 minutes of break. Why I'm typing? 5 minutes timer. 5 minutes timer. So let's start, guys. हेलो. हाँ, आपने आपने कॉल. हाँ प्लीज सर. हाँ प्लीज सर. ओके. ओके. Can I call you after 9? I'm in a session. Okay. Okay, thank you. So guys, let's start. These days there are a lot of job opportunities, I feel. Okay. So should we start, everyone? Quickly. Yes or no, guys? Everyone back? Should we start, everyone? Quickly, yes or no? Right? Right. Right. So guys, let's start. So now, so we have understood a lot of things. So very good, not a problem. Now we have another one concept, that is pickling, right? So again, serialization and deserialization actually is popularly known as pickling. So pickling, right? And this will be very, very important. This you will understand, you will realize that this concept is very, very important in machine learning modeling. If you guys know what is a machine learning modeling, then you must be knowing that if you pickle an object of linear regression or logistic regression. Yes or no? Whoever knows, this is not expected that everyone should know it, but whoever knows, do you remember that, guys? Whenever you were using a machine learning model or whenever you were making a model, okay, I will just show you. So guys, whoever knows, from sklearn dot linear model, linear model, import linear regression. So you used to do this. Whoever knows machine learning, I'm talking to them. Rest, don't worry about that. So do you guys remember that you do this? So what is this linear regression? This linear regression is a class. Yes or no? And now you will make an object like this. Yes or no? So this will become your regression object. So this is your regression object, right? And this regression object looks like this. This is your unfitted. See, we are now building a linear regression model. But anyway, this we are going to see in machine learning, deep learning. So don't worry about that. But this is understanding this linear regression. And after that, reg.fit x train y train. We used to do this x train y train. Yes or no? So after training this becomes your object, and we used to pickle this model so that again we can reload it and predict on any unknown data. So obviously many of you might not be understanding this, so you don't need to worry about that, because again pickling we will be seeing at a later stage, but this is the understanding. Okay, now what is pickling? Right, right, right. So pickling simply means conversion conversion of Python object Python object into again byte string. Very simple. Into byte string. Very simple. And unpickling, opposite, right? Unpickling means reverse. Let's say means reverse. Same thing. Serialization and deserialization, right? Now what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, right, right. I am again going to copy the same class. So let's say this is a class. This is a class, right? So that says it stores the state of an object. Very good, very good. So this is the something like this class student, something like this, right, right. So here let's say I will also write one more comment stores the state of object. I was tried to I would have commented later, but let's say very good point stores the state of object. Let us like this, right, like this. Very good. This is your class student. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write very simple thing, def info. So this is info, that is student info, self. And let's say this time, what I'm going to do, let's say I will remove this gender. I thought let's move age, but let's say like this. And now print. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. My my name is let's say my name is right self dot name. So you can use f string as well. Self name and self name self dot and I am what has happened to my caps lock and I am I am self dot age years old years old. Very good. This is the understanding. So now let's say you make an object. So here I will remove this gender. I don't want to keep this. So let's say s is equals to student, and this time you put Sada, and Sada is 31 years old, right? Now as dot info, so as dot info and see it. Hello everyone, my name is Sada and I am 31 years old, right? So this is the understanding, right? This is how it will look like, right? Very good, not a problem. Now we are going to use pickle to store this object, right? Right, right, right. So this is again going to be a lot of fun. So now what I'm going to do, first of all, we will be having a module called pickle. Import pickle. Sajal says error. Sorry, Sada says error. Why it is error, Sada? There will be no any error. So import pickle, right? Right. Now here I will just write with open. So I will just name the pickle file. So let's say stud.pickle, student.pickle. So let's say student.pickle. Very good. And now here I am going to write it in write binary mode. This WB means write binary mode as file. So WB means write binary mode, right? After that, what happens? Pickle dot dump. Pickle dot dump. And what to dump? Right. You want to dump S. This is your object you want to dump. And where? In which file? So this is the file. So now if you see here, just remove this. Now there are a lot of files. So I will remove some files that is not necessary now. So I'll just delete it or delete it. Yes, I have deleted. See here, student.pickle. Now, if you just click, you will not find anything. This will be something like this. Is not UTF-8 coded. So basically, this is a binary file. You will not be able to see this, but this is the understanding. So this is your student.pickle. Now, interestingly, now you have written it. You have dumped it. So I can simply write dump, pickle dump. Now, what is the specific about this pickle dump? Why this is very important, right? Right. So here it is very important because pickle will also store the state. How? I will show you. So it will store the state of the object. Very good, not a problem. Now how to load it? So pickle load. So I want to now pickle load the data. So how to load it? With open. So I'll just copy this. Actually, I would have directly copied it. So I will just copy this. And now here, instead of WB, it should be RB. RB doesn't means rabies. It means read binary mode. read binary mode, and this will be RB. Very simple, right? Student.pickle RB, right? And then pickle.load. So here I will load this file, this file, and then here it will be P is equals to this. Rajkumar says state of object means very good. I will show you what is the state of object means. So now pickle P is equals to pickle dot load. Now what is this P, guys? Everyone, what is this P now? Can anyone see what is the type of P? See, this is an object of class student. And now whenever I was saying state of object remains the same, right? Then in this case I'll just print it because you will also see this. You will see this like this. So this is your class main student. Now this is very interesting. Whenever I say state of object, what is the meaning of this? Now see, this pickle has actually an idea of this particular function, that is info. And if you don't know, then just see it p dot, and if you hit tab, see here is info name. This state that was defined earlier, it is still there. And now if you just click on info without passing any other student's information, you will find, hello everyone, my name is Sada and I am 31 years old. This is actually the state of object, means that the last time object was this, and this is how the result was. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Right, everyone should be pretty much 100% clear. Clear, Rajkumar? Right, this is very very important thing, so that's why we are discussing this. Very very important, very very important. Right, right. Tushar says, what is the benefit of saving the state of the object? Tushar, just use your brain little bit, you will realize you know this, because this is what I was talking about. Let's say industry use case. Let's say, right, let's say you made a machine learning model. Let's say you made a, guys, many of you might not understand this, don't worry about that. When it will come machine learning, I will explain it again. Right, let's say you made a ML model, and you have done hyperparameter tuning. Hyperparameter tuning, so you have learned the best hyperparameters. Then now if you have to transfer that particular model, ship that model to, let's say, client, or to, let's say, other user, then will you retrain that model at that different computer machine? Will it happen so, guys? Will it happen so? No, it will not happen. Right, right, it will not happen. Right, right, right. And that is what the usefulness of this pickle. Right, so what will happen? So whatever you have trained, that hyperparameter will be stored in the pickle, and whenever you load the file, from that point of time only the file will be loaded. Very simple. Right, right, very simple. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Right, is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys, everyone? Right, right, right. Is it clear, everyone? Right, right. Very good. Sorry, guys, I just, my camera is not working, I don't know why. Integrated camera, anything should work. Okay, so let's say this is working fine. So this is the understanding. Right, 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 right. 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 Okay, everyone. Hyperparameter tuning. The pickle will store all the tuned hyperparameters. Hyperparameters. Or tuned parameters you can also write, because tuned parameters is a hyperparameter, but let's say this is the understanding. Right? Now, last thing, what is the difference between pickle and JSON? Right. So JSON lets user to store the data in human readable format, right? Right. So if you remember, when you clicked, then you were able to see it, but in student.pickle you will not be able to see anything. You will not be able to see anything. So here JSON lets user to store the data, right, in human readable format, but pickle store the data in binary format that you cannot read it. Right. Advantage of pickle to see to see ML models to be used by other users. State remains intact. Privacy, or let's say security, is not compromised. Is not compromised. How is security is not compromised? Because it is encrypted. Compromised because it has been converted to 1.0 format. So as it's encrypted to 1.0 format. Encrypted to 1.0 format. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right. So JSON doesn't store the data, it only store in dictionary format. Yes. Store the state. State, see, state at that point of time also in JSON also, it stores the state. It is not that it doesn't stores the state, because if you remember the last entered value, let's say if you remember, it was some name was Sada, and different job was there. Sorry, course was there. Data science. You were able to see that value. So in that case also it is stored, right? It is just that the benefit of pickle is that that the hyperparameter that you have tuned in the last, that will be used. So basically the difference is simple. That is a more human readable format. Pickle is not that much human readable format. That is the only difference. But if you say state is there or not, because if you remember that point of time also I had uh, used the word structure remains intact. That meant the same. It is just that interpretation there, you cannot use the word state is explicitly used with the object, and that's why there we didn't use, and here we are using the word state. Otherwise both means the same. Is it clear, everyone, now? Anyone has any questions to ask out here? Quickly, yes or no? Anyone has any questions so far? Should I move ahead, everyone? Quickly, say it, guys. Right, 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 right. So, continuation to this, continuation to this. Now we are moving towards serialization, deserialization. Now, reading and writing. Already we have seen text, JSON. So now, reading and writing, reading and writing different types of files, different types of files, different types of files. So these types of files, this is some sort of irrelevant topic. Why? Because whatever we are going to see the read and write of different types of file, It is actually, right, it is actually, to be very honest, it is actually becomes relevant whenever you will start using different type of libraries that we are going to see. So no need to worry about that, right? But anyway, let's start now understanding reading and writing different types of files. So this is our next topic, right? Next topic. So now let's move ahead to reading and writing different types of files, right? Right. Before that, just for a second, guys, I am stopping sharing my screen. Right? Is my screen visible, everyone? Is my screen visible? Right? My screen is still visible, guys. Everyone? No. Very good. So basically, I want to see something. Uh, so just give me 1 second, guys. Uh, mm, I want to, you know, I have something in my mind. If I get it, then it is fine. If I don't get it, that is also fine. Mhm. Right. So, I it's just from this. Just a second. Most probably suggested for this video. Oh my god. Mhm. Okay, guys. So, sorry, guys. I am not getting something. Okay, maybe let me try last time. So there are something. Mhm. This is actually, if I get it. So, so I'm actually looking for one notes, right? Right. Oh, okay, okay, very good. Uh, oh yes, now I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know once my screen is visible. Mhm. Mm. Is my screen visible, guys? Everyone? Yes or no? Right? Yes, very good. So basically, what happened, I wanted to show you some other type of different type of loading files. So that's why, I was taking some time. So let's start, guys. Let's start. So first of all, as usual, we will start with different types of reading and writing files. So already we have seen how to write a text file. So we have seen that text file, how to read and write, right? So we will now, so we have okay, let's start with the text file only. So let's say text file. So let's say, maybe what I can do, I can have some doc string, something like this, and let's say here I will just write, I am a student, something like this. I am studying data science, something like this, studying in data science. So this is my text, right? This is my text. So I'll just store this something like this. Text. Text is equals to this. So now this text is equals to this. So you can now write with open any name. So let's say examp example.text, right? Example.txt text. Say it carefully. And then you want to have this in the right mode, and then this in the right mode, and then you can just write file.write, and then whatever text content you have. So as file, I have not written file. So file dot write whatever text content you want. So maybe I will just write text. Done. So now if you see here, you will find there is example dot text. So now if you will open, you will find the text. Something like this. I am a student, I am studying data science. Simple. So far so good, guys, everyone. That should not be problem. I am studying data science. Now, can I read this? Again, the answer to your question is yes. So, how can you read this? Very simple. So, this time you will use read mode as file. Now, file dot read. So, you will not write something like this. Simple write file dot read, and this is how you read the file. Then this becomes your data, and now you can just print the data to look the data. So far, so good. We have already seen this. Everyone agrees to this? Yes or no, everyone? Quickly. Yes or no? Right? This should not be a problematic thing. This is very basics. Already we have seen this a lot of many times. Now let's try to read a different type of file called CSV. This is separated comma separated values files, right? Comma separated values. CSV means comma separated values. So let's say I will name a data. I will take a data, that is data, and something like this, right? Something like this. So first column name would be name. Then we can have, let's say, course, and then let's say some fee, right? Fee, right? Fee. So name, course, and fee. This is the first you know column name. Then let's enter some values. So let's say here Monjolika. Monjolika is there. Then course is data science, and then fee is maybe fee. Our fee was very low. Let's say 5,000. That too, everyone got a discount, right? So let's say this is a fee. Now let's say maybe after Monjolika, let's say here we will be having Ajay. So Ajay, and then let's say again, let's say I am going to launch a course on advanced SQL or SQL. The course fee I will put just let's say 799. Very simple, 799, right? So this is my data, right? This is my data. Now, let's see, this is your data, and data looks like this. Name, course, fee, Manjulika, DS, 5,000, something like this. Now, if you want to print this data one by one, how will you print this? So, for I in data, you will print I. So, you will just write print I, then you will print everything like this. Name, course, fee, Manjulika data science 5,000, Ajay SQL 799. Right? Very good. So that's not a problem. Now comes the very, very important thing. So let's say you want to actually read this data or store this data in a CSV format. Then how can you do this? Right? For that, again, you have to import CSV module. So in CSV module, then you have to go with open, and then let's say this time file name is example1 or example CSV, CSV.csv. So .csv is the extension that you have to provide, right? Then you have to write it in the right mode, and then let's say as file, right? Right, as file. Now here CSV has an option of writer, right? So this is your CSV, this is a module, right? Inside this module there is a function called writer. So this writer will write on this file. So this is your writer object. So this is your writer. Let's say this is your writer. Now one by one, for I in data, for I in data, you will write w dot. Now write row. So you will just write write row, and then you can just write I. Very simple. And now if you just go to this folder again, you will find this example underscore csv dot csv with all the data put here. See here, name, course, and fee. This is your CSV file, and delimiter is comma because this is a CSV file, and that's why it is like that. Is it clear, everyone? Did you guys understood this? Everyone understood this? Yes or no? Quickly. So this is how you write a CSV file. But actually, this is irrelevant. Why this is irrelevant? So there is a library called pandas that we are going to see. In pandas, you read the data using pandas function, which is very easy to read. This much you code, you don't need to write it. Right. Right. So that is the benefit of pandas, right? But now this is the right. Can you read this? The answer to your question is yes, you can also read this. How can you read this? So here I can just write read as file again. Now this time instead of csv.writer, just write reader. So now you will be having csv.reader file. So here you have r. So you have r. So for I in r, you have to just read it, then you will just print I. So print I. So print I. One by one you will find everything, name, this, and this particular this. So I in this csv.reader file for INR print I. I don't know why there is some empty space, because there might be a new line. I don't know. There is something. Maybe I will just remove this print I and just see I. Okay. Anyway, print I will not work. So there is something, right? And is equals to this. Maybe like this. And is equals to this. Maybe this would work. Okay. Still this empty list is there, right? If length of I, okay, new line is equals to that. Let me try that. Very good. So new line, new line, new line is equals to this. Oh, new line, this there is no any. End is equals to, so this is end is equals to this. Maybe I will just write end is equals to this. Okay, anyway, let it be. That's not a problem. I can just do one thing. But usually earlier this read function don't use to give this type of result. But anyway, yeah, I can just, if length of I is equals to 0, right? Right. Continue. Continue. Simple code. Don't worry about that. Else print I. Simple. Done. Right. Don't worry about that. But yes, earlier this empty list was not there. But anyway, right, you can do this way as well. So this is how you write a CSV file and then you read a CSV file. Is it clear, everyone? So now moving ahead. So this was one type of reading and writing file. This was your, so double code this, is it? So let me try. If it doesn't work, Santanu, then you will see me. So here r is equals to this, right? Print I, and then here I will just write and is equals to, let's see, backward slash n. Array, yaar, why this capital I? What you have done, Santanu? But anyway, So let's say anyway, we have solved this problem, right? Right, 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 right. Uh, that E5, that is also good, Sajil, that you can also do. Maybe Santanu is saying something. Maybe let's see the Santanu solution. What he is trying to do. Okay. Okay, it works well. Very good. It works well. Then what was the problem? What was the problem? Oh, did I did something wrong? As r as file, csv.reader file, and is equals to this. But this is something that I had been, I don't know, something I got you know wrong earlier. But anyway, so this is the understanding. So for I in data, print I and is equals to, right. It is not from file. Okay, it is not from file. Okay, csv.reader. It is not from file. So this is file. Print. Oh, this is wrong. How you can do this, Santanu? For I in R. But anyway, so guys, just skip this, right? Skip this. So we have understood how you have printed all of this, right? Right, right, right. So, right, right, right. Now, moving ahead, guys, this is something we have understood. Now, second type of data structure or second type of file, right? So, first one was CSV file. So, before that, also, first thing was a text file. Then we saw CSV file. Then we have something called again JSON file. So, let's see JSON file also once more. So, JSON. So, this is JavaScript object orientation orientation. So let's see this as well, right? Right. So what we can do here, then again we can have some data is, let's say, maybe name, and then we can have Ajay, then let's see sex, right, sex, and then we are having, let's say, male. So this is your data. Now again, you have to dump it. So how can you do this? So this time again, JSON. So already we have imported, but just to make sure that you understand where the JSON is coming from, JSON. So with open, and then I can just write it name example 3.json. So this is your example 3.json, and again write mode, and this time again as file, and you can just write json.dump json.dump data with file name. Done. So now if you see, there will be a JSON example 3 with all the detail. See, name and sex. Now, again, moving ahead, if you want to open this, so you already know this now, example 3, now you want to open it. So with open example 3.json, this will be in read mode as file, and then json.load. So json.load this file. So this particular file will be loaded where? In the data. So this will be data, and then you will print this data. Print this data. So this is how you have printed the data. Right? Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Yes or no? Everyone. Very good. Now, guys, actually, right, this is something that is actually taught everywhere, but since someone had asked about XML file, who had asked, I guess Rajkumar had asked or someone had asked, so that's why I was seeing my notes where I have written about the XML file, but I didn't got it. But I will try it out in front of you if I am able to do this or not. So even if I am not able to do it, don't judge. So let's see it. So before XML file, right, 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 we are going to see first binary file, right, right, because binary file is also we are going to see. Right, right, right. Now, Sajil is asking, what is XML? So XML is like extensible markup language. Uh, how to explain you? So widely used in front end development, right? So XML is widely used in front end development, but these days, right, right, yes, sounds like HTML. So this is like, yes. So there is a very good question. So if you have studied programming in your second, third semester, then this is a for sure 5 number or 3 number question. What is the advantage of XML over HTML? So this is something like that. But anyway, or what is the difference between XML and HTML, or how XML and HTML competes? That was a question that used to be asked. But anyway, that's not a discussion point of discussion as of now. First, read the binary file, and then I will come to XML and other type of file. That is YAML file also. So we are going to discuss everything, right? So now, so reading and writing binary files, reading and writing binary files, reading and writing binary files. So what I'm going to do, right, reading and writing binary files. So again, this time with open. Now this time example 4. So example 4 dot bin. See, this time extension is bin. Bin means binary, right? And then we have we have read binary and as file. So as file, right? So instead of read binary, I will just write write binary because we don't have any binary file as of now. So write binary and as file. So how to write? File dot write. Now this is very interesting. File dot write. So here I will write B first thing, and then I will just write this particular, I have just copied it uh, from somewhere. So I'll just copy this, right? So I'll just copy this. So this actually in binary. So if you see 48, 65, these all are some values, some values in binary. So now let's write it here. So this is your binary file. And now if you go ahead and see binary, so here you see example 4 dot binary. So now if you click it, you will find something hello world. So this is actually binary representation of hello world. And this is how hello world will be stored in a machine. But now again, this is writing. How to read it? Again, just copy this. Just copy this. Now what I am going to do here, instead of write binary, just write read binary and then file dot read. So file dot read and done. So just do print file dot read and then just write print. So the moment you write print, then it will be hello world. So that's the understanding. That's the understanding. So this B is required. So this is your hello world. Is it clear, everyone? So this B is required to understand this as a binary representation, right? That's why I'm writing. But here it was B. That's why I thought let's remove it, but I was not able to do it. But this is the understanding, right? Now, guys, this is generic thing that people actually teaches, right? Everyone teaches this way, right? But there are different other file types, right? There are different other file types. I want you guys to also know that. I want you guys to know that. Obviously, when you will start reading libraries, then it will become very, very easy, right? This will become those things will become very easy. But let's try to, understand different types of files as well. The first thing, right, is .yaml file. So reading and writing and reading YAML files, YAML files. So now guys, what is YAML files, right? So whenever you install some libraries, you might have seen this YAML files. So human readable data serialization language. So what is YAML, right? So this very good. So I got it whatever I needed. So if you see here, is a human readable data serialization language. It is commonly used for configuration files and an application where the data is being stored and transmitted. This is what I wanted to show you. So basically, whenever you install, you will find a lot of YAML files. Right. So let's see what is the full form of YML. Right. Full form of YML. There should be must. Right. Yet another markup language. Right. Yet another markup language. So YML files. YML meaning yet another markup language, right? And where it is used, as mentioned earlier, it is commonly used in configuration files where the data is being stored and transmitted. Very simple, while installing any apps. So let's say while installing any apps. So this is the first understanding. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Rajkumar has asked something. Just a second, Rajkumar. First of all, let me complete this. Transmitted here commonly in installation. In installation of any any apps or softwares. Right. Softwares. Softwares. That's it. Softwares. Arey yaar. Softwares. Now Rajkumar says, can we read encrypted file using the method like encrypted password? This is very hard to say, right? See, obviously, if you ask some hacker, then they will give you a wide explanation, descriptive explanation. But if you ask me, right, encrypted files on your own, you cannot ever read. So whenever you write something in database, so the core of the database is that they will first encrypt and then write. I don't know how many of you have worked on database, but this is the core of database. Any database you take, right? It is not stored in the same way. First, it will encrypt in some or other format, index or something like that. It will first encrypt and then write it. And whenever you will fetch, it will decrypt and give you the original format. But now the question is, can you write some decrypt function on your own? So for that, you have to understand what is the encryption methodology. And designing a database, believe me, is not that easy, right? And that's why you see all this database, Neo4j or any graph database or any NoSQL database is a company in itself with more than valuation of 100 CRs and something like that. Right, right. To answer your question, we cannot read the encrypted files on our own. Yes, obviously, if it is a binary file, you can read it. If it is a YML file, you can read it. You never know how database is storing the encrypted data in its, whatever format it is. Right. So now, how to read and write the YAML files? Right, that's the question now. So writing YAML files. So again, right. So here it should be. I'll just raw. So it will look like that. Right now, right. Let's say here I will just write writing YAML files. YAML files. Now in this case, first of all, again, import YAML, right? Once you imported YAML, so let's say data. So again, this is some dictionary format. So let's say data, name is Ajay. Maybe let's say name is Ajay, right? So let's say name is Ajay. And let's say maybe gender is male, male. So let's say this is your data. Now you have to write this in a YAML files, right? So with open, see it very easy, with open. And now let's say example 5.yaml, example 5.yaml. Then we have this write mode. So this is write mode as file, and then again file.dump, similar to JSON, file.dump. And what you want to dump? Data into this file. So uh, File.dump, example.yml, mm-hmm, mm, import yml, yml, I have done something wrong. Okay, file.dump I have written. So this should be yml.dump. yml.dump. Oh, F is what? I'm not concentrated on what. So this is your yml.dump. Now, here if you see it again, you will find a YAML file. See, this is YAML file, right? Right. So gender male, name Ajay, and this is how the configuration file you might have seen while installing any software. Now, similarly, you have to read this file, right? How to read this file? Again, very simple. So to read this file, with open this, you read this in read mode, very simple. And then yml, here you have function called safe load. So here in this case you will be having a safe load, and then you will load this file, and after that this becomes your data. So data is equals to this, and print data, right? Glad I didn't stuck, but yes, you have found the data. One thing you might have observed, gender has came first and name has became last, but this is way, you know, this is how it works. But anyway, this is the understanding, right? Which is best file used? JSON is highest used, right? But while installation configuration, you will find YAML file also being used, but JSON is widely used, right? Because in JSON you can have different data structure. JSON can integrate with any platform, so that's the advantage, right? Right. Yes, DevOps people use, right, a lot of this YML files. So I can just write it like this. So yes, very good. So use case DevOps DevOps and data engineering. A lot of time you will find it being used, right? While installation or installation files, right? Right. So this is the understanding, right? Clear everyone? Yes or no? Right? Right. So this is what actually I wanted to show you, but I didn't remember what was the yml load file and all of those things, but finally we have discussed this. Is it clear? Yes or no? Right. Right. Now again, one more format is xml file. So xml file. So now let's say xml files, reading and writing xml files, reading and writing xml files, right? Reading and writing xml files. Now this I have to, you know, uh, first of all I have to see xml files. So this is again a widely used in front end development, right? So extensible markup language, right, to reconstruct data. Simple, right? Encoding documents so that are both human and machines, right? Right. So see here, the standard web server. So widely used while, you know, working with front end and server. So while front end back end interacts, most of the time, apart from JSON, XML files are used, right? So this is something you need to understand, right? Right. But again, how to read and write XML file, right? So this is something, you know, let's try to look at this, right? So again, we are going to do one thing: import XML. First of all, guys, this forgive me if I am stuck here. So import XML, because rarely I work with XML because I am not a front end developer, right? I work with API. Mostly API gives JSON format, not with XML. But let's say this is your XML, right? Right. Right. Now in XML, so let's look at this XML, XML, XML dot DOM parsers. Okay. Maybe what I can do, example of reading and writing XML files. I don't think XML files are going to be reading right XML files in Python. So guys, I am using this example. Okay, finding tags, right? Okay, data.app.read. Mm-hmm. XML. Okay. This is actually, uh, an application of XML. So beautiful soap. This is a library used to, scrap the data from any website. But anyway, so let's see how we can have an XML file. So let's say with this, right, read and write. So actually, I'm not getting the thing. So the important, maybe I will just write. Mhm. Reading and writing with XML files, creating a document, writing, writing of XML files, writing of XML files. Mhm. So let's see if I can just write it. Right. Okay. Never use Sajal. Your learning will be hanged. But anyway, what I can do, what I can do. Oh, mhm. Okay, guys. So what I will do, I will put the XML code in here. So you guys don't worry about that. So I will put the code here. 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 So I will put the how to read and write XML files, because I too don't have any idea, because I don't uh, do much of reading and writing of XML files. Now moving ahead, right. There is one more type of file called as Parquet file, right? Parquet file, reading and writing Parquet file, reading and writing Parquet file. This is also a very important file, reading and writing Parquet file. So for that, you have to understand what is a Parquet file, right? So Parquet file is a compressed file, is a type of compressed file. I have worked a lot with this Parquet file. So is a type of compressed file. So what happens? I don't know how many of you know, but an Excel file can have maximum 15 to 16 lakh or 1.5 million of rows. Do you guys have any idea about this? Whenever you open an Excel file or CSV file, it will be only 1 or 1.5 million. Rajkumar says 10 lakhs. It is actually Rajkumar 15 lakhs, if I'm not wrong. So 1.5 millions or 1 million of rows, let's say, right? Let it be it 1 million or 1.5 million, doesn't matter. Similarly, whenever you start working in the industry, right, you will realize one thing, right? You will realize one thing, that it becomes tough to use pandas, right, to train the model. So in that case, you have another framework built over Python similar to pandas, that is PySpark. PySpark, right? And one of the file that is used with PySpark is Parquet file. Is Parquet file. So now if you just Google it out, what is Parquet file? Parquet file. So Parquet file. So if you just Google it out, is a column-oriented data storage format that's open source and free. But anyway, you don't need to, you know, dive deep into this, because I will show you the thing. So data source and format. So how actually the data is stored. This is very interesting how Parquet file works. This is out of syllabus, but so let me try to make you understand. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. So anyway, right. How it works? So I'll explain you. So let's say here you have gender column. In gender column, you have male, you have female, you have male, you have male, and you have a female. Right. Then we have name. Name is, let's say this is Ram, right? This is Ram, this is no Tina, Tina, right? This is Tina, and this is, let's say, another name B, C, again B. Now, what does Parquet file do? It doesn't store the data in this format, right? It will not store the data in this format. What Parquet file will do? So let's say all the gender. First, they will make a identifier. Let's say gender. It will store first male, and how many times male is repeated? Male has been repeated. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Male has been repeated 3 times. So it will give an identifier 3. Female has repeated 2 times, then let's say some identifier female 2, right? Then this is one column. See it carefully. This is one column. Now in the same column, now again, there will be another identifier name. And in this, let's say Ram is a male. So that's why Ram is there. And now again, all the males will be there first. So Ram is there, then BC is there. So let's say C, C is there, and now B has been repeated, right? B is there. So let's say B is female. So let's say, sorry, B is male. B is also male again. Same gender and same thing repeated. So here it will write B is multiplied by 2 again. And let's say here in this case, so I'll just remove this. So this becomes m into 4. So this is how the data is stored. So this way, data is compressed more and it will take a lesser space. Don't you think, guys? Everyone? Don't you think, guys? Now it will not repeatedly putting the data. So each time M Ram is there, F Tina is there, M is this is there, M this is there, M this is there. Assume how many times M is repeated. Yes or no, guys? Quickly, everyone. Yes or no? So hope you have understood that in industry how actually people have moved on from pandas, right? Right. So you can actually store the data in this format. Now again, so let's say here we have directly you can store the Parquet file, or let's say I will just import the library pandas as pd. Let's say pandas as pd. So I'll just write pd dot data frame, pd dot data frame, pd dot data frame, and then we have something called name, and let's say here maybe let's say Ajay, 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 or let's say some other name, Vijay, something like that. So this becomes your data frame. So this becomes data frame. So I'm trying to convert a data frame into Parquet file. So this is your data frame. So you look like this data frame. Now, if you want to convert this, then you can just use df dot to Parquet. So the moment you write to Parquet, so to Parquet, and then let's say example 6 exp6 dot Parquet. So just you have to write dot Parquet. So this is your Parquet file, and now this Parquet file has been stored here. So if you see here exp6, right? Now refresh here. So there should be exp6, and this is your exp6 dot Parquet, right? Now this is your Parquet file, but when you read, how will you read? Simple pd dot read Parquet, Parquet, and then read Parquet. Using pandas you are reading, right? But don't think that this is in a CSV format or Excel format. This is in a Parquet format. So Parquet, read Parquet, and after that you can just write this particular name. So here this is written like this, and now this will be your df is equals to df. So df here, right, like this, and then again you will get the same thing. So Parquet is replaceable, or Parquet is alternative to CSV and Excel file. Second, Alternative to pandas to read a parquet file, read a parquet file, or read or write a parquet file is PySpark. So PySpark is again a framework in Python that you don't need to worry about this, right? But this is the alternative where the industry is going on, right? So instead of CSV and Excel file, Parquet is there, and alternative to Pandas is your PySpark files. And if you see my again my LinkedIn, then you will realize that I these days I am mostly working on Parquet files. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly, everyone. Anyone has any doubts? Right, right, right. Last thing, right? Reading and writing an Excel file, right? This is also very important, right? So here I have copied up a code from my previous notebook, right? No, PySpark is not a library. You cannot say it is a library. So for example, what is Django, right? Or some sort of framework. So you can say, if you want PySpark as a library, you can say it actually this is, some pre-written codes kept there, but it is actually called as a framework. But it's not any harm in saying library also. So this is, reading and writing Excel file, right? So here I will just write it here. So writing and reading an Excel file, right? Reading and writing Excel file. So reading and writing Excel file. So again, this is something, again, no need to worry about that, right? Why? Reason being, this is again very easy to read using pandas. But if you want to see here, first, this was your writing. Okay, I've removed or what? So writing Excel file, Excel file, and this is your reading Excel file using native Python. So reading Excel file. So now if you see example Excel, you will find it here. So example Excel, XLS. So this is your Excel file that you have written. Obviously, you can just download it and then open it. That's not a problem. But this is your Excel file. See the space. How much Excel file is taking? It is taking 4.8 KB. And if you see the Parquet file, it is taking 1.6 KB. Obviously, data is a little bit more, but this is the understanding. Right, right. Anyone has any questions? So Vipan says, first we have to convert all CSV and Excel files into Parquet. No, not necessary. If there is already a Parquet file, then you can directly read it. But since we are not going to create it as of now, right, because it doesn't have our, you know, that is out of scope to create a Parquet file. But you can create a Parquet file directly and directly read it. It's not mandatory to create a CSV file or to create a pandas data frame and then make a file like that. Anyone has any questions so far? So this is the level of depth I wanted to have. Praveen says, can you scroll down? Yes, Praveen, you can have it. You can see whatever you want to see, right? So this is the level I just wanted to have you guys known this, right? Right. Anyone has any questions to be asked? Right, 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 right. Santanu says, will you teach API web scraping? Yeah, say anything, I will teach everything. Don't worry. देख लेंगे Santanu. We'll see it. Don't worry. Anyway, API I will teach it. I'm thinking to teach API because a lot of things while teaching also I revise, to be very honest, because but API I use day to day, but web scraping I haven't used in a while. But anyway, that's a good thing. I will just teach it. And to make you guys, just to share one thing, I started my career at Upgrad, right? And now in Upgrad, the first thing that I was given to was to work on web scrapping. So they had given me to refactor the web scrapping code, and I was like, I didn't like it. then they gave me machine learning module, right? For data fetching, I we use a different way of data fetching in industry. Data fetching doesn't mean that you have to use web scraping, never, right? But anyway, we'll see web scraping, not worry about that. Sajal says, my question also, are you really bringing one more course especially for sequel? And if yes, you can give the spoiler of the release date, as we are the first batch. Okay, yeah, I am thinking to bring it. I am thinking to bring it, but yeah, I will let you know, guys. So now, guys, let's move ahead to another important topic, and already we have discussed to some extent whatever I have teach, whatever I have taught now, guys, till now. Can anyone answer me, if you have a very big file to read, a very big text file to read, then how do you read? If your file ram or memory of that file is bigger than your ram, then how will you read that? We have discussed this to some extent. I don't know how many of you remember, but we have discussed this, right, in the last class. So let's say if you have a file more bigger than your ram, then how can you read that? Read by lines. Very good, Santanu, right? If your file if your file is more than your ram, then you use read lines, right? You use read lines, one by one, one by one, one by one. We had discussed this. Now there is a formal way of doing that. That is called as buffered reading. Buffered reading. So this is very interesting. I had used this buffered word earlier as well. So what happens whenever a file is loaded to read or write, that is loaded in where? That is loaded in your buffered memory of RAM. So buffered reading, right? So, right, while reading or writing files, writing files, file is loaded in, buffered memory of RAM. Now, since file is loaded in buffered memory of RAM, why not start reading chunks by chunks, not everything in one go, right? So buffered reading, I will just now copy this here. This is now buffered reading. What is the meaning of this? It allows the program to read the data in chunks. Very easy, in chunks. And similarly, buffered writing, buffered writing. Again, it allows the program to write the data in chunks. Program to write the data in chunks. That's the understanding. But now, how to do this? Right. So here we have another module called import IO. So here what you can do with open, right? With open. So let's say final example. So this is our final example. Final example dot txt, and then you will just write binary mode, and then as file, as file. Now see it very carefully. So you have IO. So inside this IO, you have something called buffered writer and buffered reader that we are going to use. So here, since writing, so buffered writer, this is your file. So now this, let's say here you can just use F. So that don't get confused. So this is the F you want to write, and now you have opened this in some binary mode, right? So write binary, so you want to write this. Now, what do you have to do? File dot write. File dot write. Simple. And let's say this binary mode you have to write. Now, let's go to any Wikipedia. So maybe let's say I will just copy this, right? Copy this. This is a very big text. Let's say. Now I have to read this. So I'll just write it like this. So very good. I have you know written this particular thing, not a problem, right? Right. So okay, so this guys, just a second. This is taking a new line. This is paragraph was changed, but fine. Now this is done. So you have now file dot write. So this is the first line. Maybe again file dot write another line. So be hello world, something like that. Then again file dot write, file dot write to file dot write, then write something else. So let's say B, and then maybe something, no, career craft classes, career craft classes, classes, something like this. Now you will use a function called plus. So file dot plus, done. So file dot plus, right? Okay, here here we have to clean up these things. So maybe what I can do, this text has a lot of special characters, and that's the problem. So or okay, what I can do, instead of removing this, I will remove the special characters, something like this. And this should be the only special characters. There should be, maybe remove this should not be a problem. This is integer, and this should also be not be a problem. But again, I'm just removing it for the sake of removing it. So let's say there are integer. Now it has executed safely. So basically, special characters you cannot write. There might be not the binary of those special character. And now if you see final exp, so you might be able to see the final exp, final example. So I'll just rephrase this, right? Right. So here file final example. So here final example dot txt is there. So here everything was not written in one go, right? One by one, everything was written. See here, hello is there, hello world is there, career craft classes is there, something like that. But now if you have to read this one by one, how can you read this? Right. That comes the use case, the important use case. Similarly, what you can do with open, and this time again you will use this final text, something like this, final text rb mode, so read binary mode. So final text, something like this, final xp.text read binary. So I'll just use read binary, and then I will just write as file. So as file, then again iu dot buffered read, so buffered reader. So here you have an option of buffered reader class. So here you will provide this file, or let's again I will use f only, because here I will rename this to file. So this is the object of this, so this is your file. And then here let's say you want to read only first 100 bytes, so just write 100. So you can just write here first 100 bytes. So now it will just read first 100 bytes. This is your data. And now you can print this data, something like this. So now YML is human. Only first 100 bytes has been read. You want 150 bytes. So only 150 bytes will be read, and something like that. Okay, obviously one time it has been read, but this here I will just change here 150 bytes. So here you can just change to 150 bytes, and whatever you want to read, you can read in a similar way. So this is your buffered reading and writing. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly, right? Everyone, yes or no, guys? Very important. Whenever you have industry use case, whenever a use data is there, you have to use this method. You have to use this method, and you will see this in deep learning, right? Whenever you will be working with, CNN, right? You will realize while loading image, you will not load the complete image, right? You will load the image one by one. Survey says, what is the role of flush? So flush actually write the data one by one. So this line first written, then this line written, then this line written, and then everything is flushed into this file. That's it. So whatever has been written, right, it will just binary. So here you are writing binary mode. So here everything is in binary mode. So first of all it will try to write this in binary mode, and then flush will actually write everything, convert this binary. So write actually does the writing thing, but file does, flush pushes everything into the file and come back to the disk or room, whatever you want to say. So this is the understanding, right? Right. Even if you don't use file.plus, I guess it should not be a problem. Just try it out once, right? Right. Or otherwise, you can just let me see one thing, because file.plus actually flushes the file, but what is the real thing of file.plus? Yes, this is flush cleans out a RAM buffer. It is real power. So basically, after writing it, it is cleaning up everything from the flush. So it is not required actually. So optional. So this will be optional, but because anyway, this context manager will do the same thing. So optional, but let's say plus cleans up your RAM buffer. Now, guys, the last topic of the day, working with directories. So, working with the directories, guys, I know you might have lost the patience today because already we have covered a lot of topics. But again, working with directories, very small topic, very important, and the last topic of today's class. So, again, I will just write, right. So, here in this case, right. Wally says, sir, image reading or writing. See, image reading or writing is in binary files, in the binary format. So we will be seeing that. For that, we have to go to OpenCV. Right, right, right. But I will try to give you a simple example. Right. So I will put it that in the notebook. But as of now, for reading or writing image, it doesn't make sense to now work on that, because of the obvious reason. Again, you have to go to another module, maybe let's say OpenCV. So OpenCV is an again you know library that can help you to read and write images. I can show you, it's like in 5-10 minutes, but it will not serve the purpose as of now, but we'll see it. But now let's move ahead, right? Working with directories, right? Working with directories, right? So what is this working with directories? This is very interesting, right? So for example, here I deleted the file. How I deleted? I selected all the files, then I deleted. Very good. That's not a problem. Right, right. That's not a problem. Very good. Now, the question is fine. That's the question that you can read and write now. Delete the files or whatever you want to do it. Right. But can you do it using a Python? Right, right. The answer to your question is yes. You can create a directory, you can delete it using Python also. So you can create, delete directory or files using Python. Python. Right. How to do this? Right. First import OS. OS is a module. Right. OS means operating system, because you are going to interact with computers OS, right? So now here let's say you want to see what is your current working directory, where are you working. So OS dot get current working directory. So get cwd, get current working directory, and if you execute, so you guys are here, so I am here, you guys are not here, I am here. So inside C, you have users folder, Ajay K folder, downloads folder. Then we have namespace logging where I have this notebook. Now, if I want to see using another way, so that you can also do pwd. So pwd present working directory, you will find the same thing. Right. Now, if you want to see what are different files in this folder inside this namespace logging, just do ls. So you will find, okay, these are the things. So this ipynb checkpoint is a directory. This is are the hidden files, right? Wherever dot is there and no name is there, these are the hidden files. And this is your namespace and file handling 2, serialization and deserialization. So these are the files available here. This is the volume in drive C, volume serial number, something like that. This is the information. Now let's say you want to know, right, what is the size of this particular IPYNB, right? Or let's say I will just create a file. So this is your file. So this is the file, right? So if you want to know what is the size of this final exp.txt, then how you can, you know, get it. So here again, to check the size of a file, to check the size of a file, how you can check? os.path.getSize, os.path.getSize, and here you can simply write, so os.path.getSize final underscore exp.txt. So final underscore exp dot txt. So here if you see, this is the size in your, bytes. Now guys, inside this folder you want to make another folder. Can I make another folder? The answer to your question is yes. To make another folder, to make another folder using Python, yes, you can do that. How? Just write os dot make directory and just write test. So you will just write test, then you will find another directory here, made, see here, test. So inside this test there is nothing, but here you have made another directory inside this namespace login. But let's say, you want to delete this. So you want to make multiple directories. So test 1, test 2, test 3, something like this. How can you do this? So again, os.make directory. So you can just write os make directory. And inside this test, you want to make test 1. But remember, test should be present, right? Test should be present when you want to make a test 1 inside test. So test should be present if you want to make test 1 inside test, right? This is the understanding. So now if you see inside this test, you will get a test 1, right? Yes. So you are interacting with OS, and what is command prompt, right? Right, your OS, simple. So that's why you will find the same, you, know, you will find the same commands here as well. Now moving ahead, very good. But let's say you don't have this test, still you want to make a folder inside folder. How can you make? Then in that case, instead of make directory, you can use make directories. Make directories, dirs. If parent folder is not present, and you want to make multiple multiple folders folders. So in that case, so let's say here I will just use like this, 1 2 3 4, something like this. Oh, it is make directories. So make, make directories. So now if you just go ahead and see here, it will take some time to reflect, right? So 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there, 4 is there, all of these are there, right? So this is the understanding. Now you want to see the directory in this folder. List directories, right? So os dot list directories, list directories. So now you will find all the directories out here with all the file whatever it is available there in this case, right? So now this is the thing. So now let's say again you want to make one more directory. Make directory, make directory, os dot make directory, and let's say this time the directory name is Ajay. So again you will find one more directory here, Ajay. But now let's say you want to delete it. How to delete it? So to delete this you can use now to delete a directory, to delete a directory. So now os dot remove directory, right? Os dot remove directory, and then just pass the name Ajay. So in this case, now if you will see, Ajay should not be there and it will be removed. So now Ajay is not there. This has been removed. Very easy, right? Right. But let's say you want to delete this 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you delete that? Right. So can you delete nested directories? Let's try it out. Let's try it out. If you want to do this, what will happen here? So os dot, right, remove directory. So let's say os dot remove directory, and let's say I want to remove 1. So in this case what will happen? Right, it will throw you an error, right, because it is not empty. So in that case you will import a module called subtle. Import subtle, and then subtle dot rm tree. So rm tree means remove tree, and then you can just remove the complete directory. So this will be removed, and now if you see it, you will not find 1. If you refresh it, so you will not find 1 here. Then now that has been removed. That's the understanding. Now let's say again os dot get current working directory, get current working directory. So this is your os dot get current working directory. So namespace logging, very good, not a problem. So now guys, inside this, right, 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 inside this we have a folder called test, right? We have a folder called test. Then inside this test we have test1, and if you see there is no any file here. Now I want to create a file here. Can I create it here? The answer to your question is yes, you can create this. How? Very simple. F is equals to, let's say, open. I want to open a file here. Now here, this is the path. So I'll just copy this path, right? Copy this path, copy this path, and this path is actually, I will just write R in front of this, and then here we have test, then we have test1, and I want to create a file that is, let's say, file test.txt. And if it doesn't exist, I want to create a new in the right mode. Now let's see it. So if you now refresh, you will find a test file here. See, it is created. Now I will copy this to some other place. Can I copy this? Right. The answer is yes. Using subtle, you can copy. Subtle dot copy. Now what I can do? Right. I want to copy this file. So wherever it is, so here, this is your source. So I want to copy this from this particular source, right, to a destination which is here. Let's say directly into namespace logging. So to some other this folder, outside every folder. So now execute this, right? And now if you see, just go outside this. Now you must be able to see final exp, sorry, final test.txt 10 seconds ago. So now you are able to see this file, right? Right, right. This is the understanding. Now you want to delete it, go ahead, delete, do whatever you want to do. You can do anything. So subtle.copy, source and destination. That's it. Done. So this was all about today's lecture, right? Rajkumar says why we use it and when. Very simple. So let's say if you are use case. Say if you are training the model, and while training, you want to create a folder. You want to create a separate folder, separate folder for clean data, for clean data. So what you will do? You will go click a right, do a right click and click, no, create a folder. Something like this you will do. New file, new folder, something like this. Will you do like this? No, you cannot do that while training the model, right? So in that case, right, you cannot manually create, you cannot create folders manually, and hence you have to, and hence you have to use OS or subtle to create, to make directories or even clean it or delete it, right? So this is the understanding. So that would be all for this lecture. Let's move to interview questions. Interview questions for this lecture. So first interview question: what is serialization? What is deserialization? Deserialization: different ways of reading files, different ways of reading and writing files. They will not write, they will not ask the code, they will just ask, can we read this file using native Python? How? Can you name the module? Right, something like that, right? And the last question would be, right, right, right. So different ways of reading and writing files, serialization, deacceleration. One thing I wanted to, what is buffered reading and writing? So that is the most important question. So what is buffered reading and writing? Right. So this was all. Now it's time for you guys to ask the question. Rajkumar says, "Great session, sir. Thanks, Rajkumar. Amazing in-depth session. Great patience while explanation." Sada says, "Thanks, Sada." Anyone has any questions to ask? Please go ahead. And yes, pickling and pickling, I missed it. We have covered a lot of topic. What is pickling and unpickling? How it is different from JSON, right? How it is different from JSON, different from JSON. So that would be all for today's lecture. Anyone has any questions? In the notebook, I will do the required thing. I will just figure it out how to read and write the XML files. But this is the understanding. Is it clear, everyone? Anyone has any questions? Survey says, thanks a lot, sir. Sajul says, to be honest, today's teaching pace was best suggested, taught with patience and pausing. Yeah, because there were a lot of new topics, right, today. But anyway, Susan says, thanks, sir. Okay, guys. So if anyone has any suggestions and any feedback, please do let me know. That would be all for today's lecture. Uh, right. Thank you, everyone. Let's meet in tomorrow's lecture. Tomorrow we will start with logging and exceptional handling. memory management, and one project of Python. Let's see how much we are able to cover. But this is the last week of Python, and from next week, we have two options. Either we can start with GUI development in Python, or we can start with Python for data science. So I will see. I am thinking just to have one GUI sessions of Python. That would be a very easy session. You will not use it as a data scientist, but now take it. I will take it that session. So thank you everyone. Bye bye. Let's meet in the next class.